Okay, let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Today, we're looking at some material based on excerpts from a YouTube script. It's called Wealth Isn't a Goal, It's a Strategy.
And that script itself comes from a book, Building Wealth, A Journey to Financial Freedom by Joseph Wakwoma.
Right. And that title, Wealth Isn't a Goal, It's a Strategy. That core idea really cuts through right away, doesn't it?
It really does. It shifts the whole perspective. Wealth isn't just this number you hope for.
Exactly.
Mm.
The source says it's a strategy, and it argues pretty strongly, actually, that if you don't have one, well, your bank account feels it. You definitely feel that lack of direction.
Which moves it away from just, wishing or fantasy land.
Right, towards action.
Towards deliberate steps. So our mission here really is to unpack the key points from these excerpts, see what this source suggests as like 5 smarter ways to manage money.
And actually build wealth, not just hope for it.
Yeah. So we're digging into what this source material actually advises.
Okay, so forget just dreaming about being rich. We're looking at the practical strategies this source offers, with its sometimes quite blunt examples.
Definitely some memorable phrasing in there.
Yeah.
We're aiming to pull out the actionable insights for you listening.
Good. So what's the roadmap here? What are the main points this source lays out?
Well, it seems to follow a logical path, starts with the foundation budgeting, then moves to creating systems.
Okay.
Then leveraging growth like compound interest, then protection insurance.
Right.
And finally, mindset, who you're trying to impress with your spending.
Got it. 5 key areas from this source. Let's start at the beginning then, the non-negotiable part.
Okay, so the source kicks off really strong. Point 1 is basically budget, like your life depends on it.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it follows right up with because it actually does. So no mincing words there.
Not at all. So it's not just like tracking expenses after the fact.
No, not really. The key insight the source pushes is about directing the money first, telling it where to go.
Ah.
Because if you don't, the source uses this phrase. It says, your money will end up ghosting you like a bad Tinder date.
Huh. Okay, that's vivid. I get that. Money just vanishing.
Exactly, that passive thing where it just disappears. So the practical advice is, well, simple but maybe not easy. Save first.
Save first.
Then you spend what's left, not the other way around.
Which is the opposite of what most people probably do, right? Spend, then see if anything's savable.
And the source is blunt here too. If you save first and there's nothing left to spend, well, it says that's reality. Adjust your spending.
Forces you to be intentional.
Exactly. Which leads nicely into the second point from the source.
Okay, with that.
Create a system, not a fantasy.
A system, not a fantasy. Okay.
Yeah, it contrasts, wishing for $1 million with the actual habit of saving maybe just a small amount every single day, like 100 shillings or whatever your local currency is.
Right, so it's the difference between like buying a lottery ticket and building a little money-making machine that just runs.
Precisely. The source really hammers on automation, tracking, repetition, building a reliable system.
So your money behaves even if you're having an off day.
Exactly. The system keeps working toward your goals almost on autopilot. It takes your mood out of the equation, makes managing money, well, predictable.
Predictable, I like that. Okay, so that system creates a flow. Where does that lead?
It feeds right into point 3, which the source gets pretty excited about. Compound interest is magic.
Ah, the magic word. Always comes up with compound interest.
It does. And the source describes it as tireless, incredibly hardworking, doesn't eat sleep, doesn't take breaks.
Just keeps compounding.
Keeps compounding, earning returns on your initial money and on the returns you've already earned.
It's that classic snowball image, isn't it? Rolling downhill, getting bigger and faster.
That's exactly it. And the source stresses that the absolute key is starting early.
Right. Time is the crucial ingredient.
Even if it's just small amounts, like that daily saving example. If you start early, consistently, time magnifies it.
So that small daily habit plus years of compounding
can lead to results that genuinely feel, well, magical later on.
Yeah.
Because the growth speeds up. It's not linear.
You're basically giving future you a huge advantage.
A massive head start, yeah. Which brings us to a slightly different angle from the source, not just growth, but protection.
Okay, safeguarding what you're building.
Exactly. Point 4 is insure the right things.
And this is where the source gets a bit provocative, right?
Yeah, it uses a comparison that definitely makes you pause. It asks, basically, you insure your fancy phone, but do you insure your health?
Oof, yeah.
And it calls that scenario comedy, but not the funny kind.
That's sharp. It really highlights potentially skewed priorities, doesn't it? Protecting stuff over, well, yourself.
Protecting possessions while leaving your actual well-being, your ability to earn money, totally exposed.
Makes you think about what's truly foundational.
Right. The source's point isn't about making money from insurance, obviously. It's about protecting your peace of mind.
And your financial foundation.
Yes, because emergencies, health stuff, accidents, whatever, they don't exactly RSVP, do they?
No, they just show up.
So having the right insurance, strategic insurance on critical things like health, maybe your home if you own one.
Yeah.
It's a safety net.
Prevents one bad event from wiping out years of careful building.
Yeah.
A defensive move.
A totally necessary defensive layer, according to this source. Protect the base so you can keep building.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
And that leads to the final point.
Yes, the fifth main idea from the source material. Impress your future self.
Okay, impress your future self. What's the trap this one is warning against?
It's that very common thing of buying stuff, mainly to impress other people.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Exactly. The source basically says, look, those people probably don't care as much as you think anyway. And it draws this great contrast. Wealth is quiet, debt is loud.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Wealth is quiet, debt is loud. That really sticks.
It does, doesn't it? It shifts the focus from flashy consumption, which is often debt-fueled and stressful, towards, quiet security, real growth.
So instead of chasing what the source calls a soft life,
Which looks good, maybe, but drains your wallet.
the strategy is focus on buying assets.
Yes. Things that ideally put money in your pocket, or at least hold their value, not liabilities that just suck money out.
So it's about making choices that actually benefit you long term. Your future self.
Your future self, yeah. Not about getting likes or nods of approval today.
Because that future self, the source suggests, will be way more impressed by having freedom, security, options.
Than by remembering some expensive thing you bought years ago to look good for someone else.
It's a real shift in why you spend or invest. Are you signaling something now or building something real for later?
That's the core of it. So those are the 5 big strategies the source lays out. Budget intentionally, build systems, use compound growth, insure smartly, and focus on impressing your future self.
Okay, so pulling all that together, what's the sort of overarching feeling or message from this source material?
I think the big message is that wealth doesn't just suddenly appear with, like, fireworks and a big announcement.
Right, it's not a lottery win moment.
No. According to the source, it shows up much more quietly. It shows up as peace of mind.
Peace of mind, freedom.
Freedom to make choices, yeah. Having options you didn't have before. It's more subtle, more internal, maybe.
Which brings us back to that fundamental question the source implies, right?
Exactly. Are you spending your energy chasing money, or are you building wealth?
That's the question it leaves you with. Chasing versus building.
One sounds frantic, the other sounds deliberate, strategic.
Yeah, this deep dive definitely highlights that difference, suggesting that building wealth is this step-by-step process that leads to a totally different kind of, well, richness in life.
Definitely makes you think about what financial freedom really means beyond just having a big pile of cash. What does it actually feel like?